Hi guys, Joe here and welcome to 750 Gaming. In this one I'm going to be talking about playing tabletop wargaming with my kids. Alright, it's been a really busy last few months. My hobbying has kind of taken a different turn to what it normally is. I did manage to finally finish my Novok Necron army up to 1,000 points, but by finish I kind of mean it's tabletop ready. I'm not overly happy with it, so I've not taken any glamour shots for any content as yet. But the turn has been that I've actually been playing far more games than I've been modelling and painting. And by playing 40k, I kind of mean playing with my 40k miniatures. You see, I've got two young boys, and at the time of recording this, they are 6 and 4 years old respectively. We love board games in our house, and these two have fully got on board, if you'll excuse the pun. And over the last couple of months, they've been asking me over and over if we can play with what they affectionately refer to as Daddy's little statues. Now, I'm well up for this. It's only plastic at the end of the day. We can always glue it back together and repaint it as necessary. I'm not overly precious. But I do have two reservations, considerations, if you will. The first is, well, my parenting hang-up about maintaining some sort of childhood innocence. Let's be honest, pretty much all my miniatures are wielding guns or swords or other weapons of some sort, and try as we might, inevitably the terminology we use is going to revolve around the theme of this guy killing this guy. That's where language in your approach can of course be very influential. But at the same point, Rory's been in school 2 years, Freddie's starting this September. Innocence is about to be lost well and truly. And I'm not here to give parenting tips. I mean, our baseline in our household is everyone fed, nobody dead. So, go figure. But my other consideration is around complexity. If there's too many rules, too many mechanics, too much choice, too many causes and effects, then there's a capacity for a lack of understanding. And of course, if it goes on for too long, then a high risk of loss of interest. And let's be honest, that goes for grown-ups playing these games as much as kids. So when my boys asked really, really nicely if they could play with Daddy's little statues, well, how could I ignore those smiling faces any longer? It's time we worked out a way that we could do this together and all have fun whilst doing it. Now, even though I personally think 10th edition 40k is the best version there's been, and by best I mean the easiest version that there has been for newcomers, it's simple, not simplistic, or whatever way round they phrased it at launch, it's still massive, and there's no way I'm teaching it to my boys. And so I looked at Kill Team, I looked at Grimdark Future Firefight from One Page Rules and various other smaller skirmish style rule sets and thought, how can we create a super light rule set that my boys could understand and buy into? And after a few goes, this is what we came up with. We play a 5-a-side skirmish on an A1 size battlefield, alternating activations, 2 actions a model, a few simple mechanics, simple scoring, no list building. So how to start? Quick preparation, an A1 size battlefield. A1 is 23.4 inches by 33.1 inches. Now a Kill Team board is 22 by 30 inches, so you get the kind of scale that we're going to be going for here. A1 is also 8 sheets of A4 all stuck together, or 4A3 or 2A2. So if you're feeling creative with your kids beforehand, you can kind of get them to design your own battlefield for you. I bought some A1 artist wooden panels thanks to a hot tip by Wovencraft, and whilst I had the ability to design and print a grimdark industrial texture at A1 scale, you could just get your kids to go mad with the black and the grey paint. And terrain can also be as simple as books or tin cans or all the other things that you used to use on your bedroom carpets when you were kids. The joys of kids is their imaginations are often far better than ours, so I encourage you to just go with it. Block those immediate lines of sight as per your usual thoughts. And you can do a very simple 5v5 shootout if you want, That's just the very basic way of doing it. Or you can throw in objectives and a simple mechanic thereof to give your kids a little bit more of an interesting flavour. Create some sort of narrative as to why you'd want to secure those things. I leave it up to you as to how much you want or need to immerse your kids and the wording of that. But to make things simple, we don't do list building in this light rule set. Each team has the same build: one captain or leader type person, one specialist or veteran elite type person, and 3 normal standard private soldier type people. And you can decide on how much you want to adhere to the what you see is what you get rule, but for the purposes of this thing, everything can make a ranged attack or a melee attack or an attack in general. And as we're only playing on an A1 size battlefield, we play that everything is in range, which means it's the same mechanic for close combat or whatever. It's just an attack, as long as you can see what you're attacking. And you use the following stat lines regardless of whether they are a space marine or an orc or an elf or whatever. A captain gets 3 attacks. It has an attack skill of 2+, meaning you need to roll 2 or more on a dice for a successful attack. They have a defensive skill of 3+, meaning they need 3 or more on a dice for a successful defense. And they have 4 hit points. A veteran or specialist, that's kind of the term that my kids have rolled with, also gets 3 attacks, but they hit on a 3+, and have a defensive skill of 4+, and only have the 3 hit points. And then the normal guys have 2 attacks, hitting on 3s again, defending on 4s again, but only have 2 hit points. And the very simple mechanics are, you roll your dice, successful attacks have to be defended with a defensive dice, and any attacks that aren't successfully defended do 1 damage and take 1 hit point off the model's current hit point total. Great, done, simple, easy. The immersive joy is taking my kids to the shed, where all my minis are on shelves, and I let them choose which models they want to use to represent these units on the battlefield this time. You know, what colour do you want to be today? The black guys. Okay, so which of these guys do you want to be your leader? The guy with the big sword? Cool. Which of these guys do you want to be your specialist? The guy with the flamethrower? Awesome, sounds good to me. Let's grab some intercessors to be your normal bods then. Which ones do you want? Etc, etc, and so on. And in this game, we ended up playing Black Templars versus Emperor's Children. A Crusader squad, sans neophytes, versus a Dark Apostle, a Chosen Dude, and some Legionaries. It means nothing to my kids whatsoever, but it does mean a whole lot to me, and that's where my immersion comes in. Everything moves 4 inches, regardless of what it is, and to save using a tape measure, I got a coffee stirrer and I cut it down to 4 inches as our guide. And then every model gets 2 actions, or rather, it gets a combo of what it can do. It can either move and move again, so move up to 8 inches. It can move and then attack as long as the target is in line of sight. It can move and then defend, and so become -1 to hit. Or it can stay still, yep, I'm claiming that's an action, and then attack. And by doing so you get an extra attack for being steady and sturdy and focused and all of that. Really, really simple. You score 1 point whenever you kill, destroy, capture, pick a term that works for you and your kids, an enemy model, and you gain 2 points if you tag an objective for the first time with one of your models. And the same objective can only be tagged once per turn. And by tag, I simply mean touch the objective at some point in its movement. You then get an extra point at the end of the turn for any objectives that are in your control. And we play sticky objectives too, so there's no need to camp on those home field ones indefinitely. If there's an even amount of models from either side touching an objective, then that objective is contested and nobody scores an extra point at the end of the round. Alternating activations over 5 turns, roll off at the start of the turn to determine who activates a model first, call it initiative if you wish, total up the points at the end. Really, really simple. If you're playing with your kids, then, try not to win, I guess. unless of course you're trying to dish out some sort of life lesson, but you want them to want to play again, right? But you'll be surprised at how well this all really works. In our last battle here, I ended up 5 points up on Rory with a 2-man advantage by the end of the 3rd round, even though I wasn't really trying, and I was worried we'd committed the cardinal sin of recording a crushing victory against one's child, only for a ridiculous swing in round 4 and me actually losing by 2 points by the end of the game. So, there you go. This is how I play on the tabletop with my 40k miniatures with my 2 young boys. I've written some of this up in a PDF that I'll link in the description if I can work out where and how to host it, should you be interested in playing this way. But I encourage you to develop your own rule set with your own kids and work out what you need to add or take away from whatever out there to get them immersed and interested in tabletop wargaming. And as always, leave a comment below with any thoughts or ideas that you have on how you do this already, if you do. I thought I'd leave you with Rory's endgame report, because he went into full YouTube mode of his own volition, which I thought was really, really cute. So this is Rory's summary of what happened in our last game.
Hello, I am Rory and my dad, and you probably know him. His name is Joe and he is the person who is filming this. And we were playing a little minifigure statue game, and even though he had 2 minifigure statues left, and I had 1, even though that I still got more points than him because I had 3 objectives. These things are objectives, and 3 of them were under my control and 1 was under his control, and he was still playing with me. So I got 20 points and he got 18. He only got 2 points less than me. So goodbye, friends, for this time. I'll see you soon again. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching.
Let's go!
Yes, thanks for watching. Do give this video a like and a comment if you enjoyed the content, or indeed otherwise, as I do love to read your thoughts and ideas. As ever, this is just a bit of fun for me. I don't have a regular release schedule or Patreon or anything, so hit subscribe if this is something you'd like to see more of, and you can catch my content when it happens. Hopefully, I'll see you next time.